but none of this was published by Elderberg. First of all, they published the false news. They hardly gave any time to respond. And then we had to chase them to actually get some of their time. And we spent so much time sharing about KAILASA, sharing materials, giving them different examples of how we've been engaging, answering all their questions very transparently. And they cut all of this out from their newscast and distorted and defamed and made it look like something else. And they have put our innocent monks on the ground in danger, putting them in life risk. And of course, this is something that we are consulting with the legal authorities on the action that will be taken on such media who have perpetrated this awful, awful crime against Hindus and indigenous communities in.
Thank you so much for highlighting these very important facts, Nithyananda Swami. And how has the response been from these indigenous communities, especially given the kind of work that KAILASA is doing, what Swamiji is doing through KAILASA for supporting these indigenous communities and empowering them? How has their responses been? What type of response are we receiving worldwide?
Actually, the response has been overwhelming and so welcoming. Every indigenous community we've met, their first remarks are, we feel God has sent you. We feel that you are here to help us. It's exactly what we need. Our community is suffering. We are impoverished. Anything you can do with social services. And we've met with many elders who have been fighting their lives to uphold the rights of their people, whether they're looking to uphold the rights of the lands that they have, ensuring that the economy is happening in their communities. So much they have suffered and so much they have gone through. So when they see KAILASA, which is very similar with respect to the values and the traditions and the persecution we've gone through, we're so organized. We do things in a very systematic way and putting the indigenous people first. Obviously, the response is overwhelming and they have been very welcoming. And this is the relations that we have been building with indigenous communities, not just in Bolivia, but literally all over the world.
Actually, that's a very beautiful point that you highlighted, because I do remember many of the indigenous nations actually being so amazed at seeing the way how the KAILASA as a nation is being organized, and that being such a huge difference-making thing for all of them. So that's a very, very, very important point. So now, when such great work has been happening, and these Hindu-mesic, anti-Hindu, Hindu-phobic, racist media channels and the deep state elements, when they are interfering and trying to destroy this hard work, and especially trying to stop, basically they want to stop the indigenous nations being empowered. So I also know that we have been finding it very, very difficult to contact our own people who are serving there, our monks, the sister monks and brother monks who are there serving, and there's a lot of attack that they are also enduring because of empowering the indigenous nations. Could you share some insight about this also? What type of attacks are they facing? What is actually happening even on ground there?
Actually, what's happening on ground is absolutely frightening. Our indigenous male and female monks on the ground have been illegally detained for no reason. There's no sort of arrest warrant, there's no court order, there's absolutely no information released about them. Even the lawyers, which is a fundamental right in Bolivia for each person to have a lawyer, they're not even allowed to see them. They're not even given any single information till now. They have no idea actually what is happening, why our indigenous, our monks on the ground, why they're being detained.
In fact, here I would like to speak about how the various details on how our monks, how our delegates in Bolivia who were there on the ground were actually attacked by the various deep state elements who were there and were actually at gunpoint threatened to their entire life. And things actually began when the various news, deep state news, articles, and media started publishing false information about Kailasa and Kailasa's intentions and how the indigenous were working. And in fact, if we look at it on the other side, the indigenous local presidents of the indigenous nations were completely in support and in favor of Kailasa. And that is how it started. And the next day, when our various different delegations wanted to go over to the purchasing of their basic necessities, what happened was at the port to depart for Santa Ana, a municipal truck had come through and they stopped the delegates from moving. This happened right at the morning, around 9 a.m. in the morning. And from 9 a.m., the truck was stopped and there were various mobs who had actually come in, and the first person to arrive and show up was actually the mayor. The mayor had actually come in with his goons and thugs, and he started calling and mobilizing other thugs in their local locality. And that is when others started coming in. And by around 11 a.m., the team, the delegation locally, had boarded the boat for them to go and get their basic supplies so that they can continue living there peacefully. But during this time, over 70 individuals, and including agitated women, encircled and started screaming and recording and holding the delegates locally at gunpoint. We'll also be projecting the images for every one of you, where you will see that they were holding rifles in their hand and they were standing there encircling our delegates who are there on the ground, and they threatened our delegates, our volunteers, from moving from that place despite no wrong on their part. And our delegates, these monks, also have humanitarian visa in Bolivia, and they're all legally approved by the immigration to serve and to conduct various humanitarian services which are there. But despite all of this, our delegates on the ground were threatened, they were manhandled, they were literally pushed out of the boat with the idea to eliminate them on the ground itself. And this was all directed by the mayor. As per the UDHI Article 3, the right to security was breached by the deep state. And ICCPR Article 12 very clearly states about the freedom of movement. And over that, the local authorities, the deep state unlawfully blocked the departure of our delegates, despite valid visas that they held in their possession, and holding rifles and guns and holding us at gunpoint. So this is what happened early in the morning between 9 to 11 a.m. And in the scorching sun, they had tried to push them away into the water, trying to kill them on the spot. And at around 11:30 a.m., while boarding the boat, the mob members pulled out the bags of our delegates, our monks, and they started threatening, they started shoving one of our delegates. They were grabbed and beaten on the ground, causing them to fall on the ground, puncturing their foot, causing them to bleed. And all of this was intervened by a couple of our other delegates so that they are stopped from being dragged and pushed into the water and being terminated. This is what was going on the ground. And these were all the monks of the sovereign order of Kailasas, Nithyananda. It is these monks who went there, giving up all their life, giving up all their so-called wealth and everything just to serve people, just to serve the community. And this is what they had faced. And the persecution that we went through, that we have been going through even now as we speak, is just tremendous. When we look at it, one of the other monks, the necklace was ripped off. The necklace was ripped off the neck. It was not removed, it was just ripped off the neck, which hurt, directly started bleeding the delegate, the monk who was there. And they were specifically left in the scorching sun so that they would have sunburns. They were denied, categorically denied access to food and water. And there was very little space for people to even be there, because the people had barged into the boat trying to push them off. And even as you can see in the photos, people started climbing into the boat, and even the people with rifles were standing right beside them closely, trying to threaten them and their life. And this is what was going on. And continuously, this attack never stopped. And this violated various articles, whether you take the UDHR Article 5, which is directly towards the freedom from torture and cruel treatment. This is even if you are a person who is accused, you still have these rights that are vested in you. But here, just for doing the humanitarian activities, just for offering the humanitarian activities, the monks of the sovereign order of Kailasa have been attacked. Same way, right to property, the UDHR Article 17. This shows our right to the sacred religious artifacts. And on the other side, in contrary, they were denied, they were ripped off the religious marks that were there. So these are the various different things that we're looking at that had happened in the initial hours.
So just to understand this, our monks who were there on humanitarian visa because they're just there to serve, and they were, whatever they were doing was only services. And the people that attacked, these were not the indigenous people, right? So these were the people, another a group of henchmen with rifles who have been driven by the anti-Hindu, Hindu-Mesic elements and anti-indigenous groups, the racist groups that had actually come and attacked our sannyasis who were there merely just to do the services. And actually, one very important fact I would also like to state here is that till now, we are not able to contact many of our monks who were there just to serve. They have been illegally detained, which is completely against the international laws and even violates many of the laws of the very government that itself. You can see here how our monks have been circled with people. And you can see mob gathering here, and you can see how our monks who were serving, the very monks who were serving, this video actually shows to all of you how the very monks who were serving there, doing the service to the country there, they're all surrounded and mobbed by so many people that are gathering that each of these were directly the entire thing was directly enacted by the deep state elements who actively came on ground and harassed the monks and threatened the monks at the gun point. And you can see our monk here is pleading. He's actually folding his hands and he's pleading the people there. And continuously you can see so many people, mob gathering around, and our monks trying to explain to them the whole situation, and press and media. So I see that this is I'm seeing the visuals are clearly showing these were live streamed, and we were not able to reach out to our own sannyasis. What's the situation right now as we are talking? Are we already able to reach out to the sannyasis? Do we know, are they all safe? What's going on with them? Do they have their ability, their freedom, or are they still in illegal detainment? What is exactly happening? I know still we are not even able to reach some of the female monks that are there, and even they were the very rights that they have are all being denied, where they're not even able to access their own legal authorities, their own lawyers. And what is the situation happening right now? Could you shed some light on this, Nithyananda Swami?
Actually, the truth is we don't know. We've lost all contact with them since morning. They have not been available. We don't know if they are, how they're being treated. Do they have food, water? We don't know the situation. And of course, it's very concerning. There's assortment of families, and we don't know actually what's happening. And we're not getting answers. Even the lawyers who say this is completely illegal and that they have a right to representation. The lawyers have a right to be there. They have a right for their lawyers to be there, but the lawyers were not allowed in when whatever investigation was happening, and they have no information. They're just saying we don't know, and they're just waiting. So it's a very an insecure situation right now. We don't know what's happening. We don't know where it's headed. And we call on all members of the indigenous community, international community, to stand up and ensure that this persecution stops right now and they're released.
Yes, it's very, very disturbing to know this, because we have lost communication with the monks who are living internationally right now over there, and we do not know what's the situation with them. And it's so scary actually, because both sides, female monks, male monks, both of them have been very unreachable right now. We have been trying, especially I know for the female monks especially, we've been trying to reach them. We've been trying to establish communications with them. Even their own lawyers are not being let to meet the people on ground. And this is something frightening, because this is completely against the laws.
And most importantly for us to remember, these are the monks who are from various different countries, well educated, from various different backgrounds, who have left everything and come there to serve the people, to serve all the indigenous people. And this is how they are being threatened. I mean, you can literally see here in the pictures, circled for all of you. Here you can see how they're standing here with weapons, rifles. They were threatened with rifle at gunpoint. They were boat trapped. They were not allowed to, the monks who are from various different backgrounds. We have people from the US, various citizens from various different countries who left their high-paying jobs, their education, everything to come and serve the indigenous people and to serve the communities there, and have been serving. They have been serving for many, many months now, working around with the people, conducting various different initiatives, various different activities, including Annadan, free food distribution, yoga classes, mental health and wellness support classes, and so on. And today, they are being threatened at gunpoint. They're being threatened to their life.
And I also see a question from a YouTuber. Ma Durjati has asked, they were held on gunpoint. Yes, Ma, that is a rifle image that we just zoomed in and showed to you, that these were the people, they were actually held. We could only gather very few visuals, because the sannyasis there have been cut off from communication. They are under illegal detention in the hands of these racist deep state elements. So the situation right now is very, very serious. And this is a clear persecution happening right now, as all of us can see. So this is what is happening right now. And we also want to encourage any of the viewers, see, this is live right now. And any question you have, feel free to post it here. I'm seeing a viewer named Ma Sonali Gupta who has posted in YouTube. Do we know what triggered all of this? Why is this attack happening?
See, the attack is happening just because these indigenous nations, these indigenous people are being empowered. And it is a racist Hindu music attack by the media, nothing else. Just because KAILASA It stands for indigenous rights, reviving the indigenous cultures and traditions. Just because of that, we are being attacked. And these indigenous people globally, if you see, they are fighting so hard, for example, just to preserve their forest. We can see so many examples of them globally fighting so hard to prevent deforestation, which is very, very important to mitigate global warming, for example. But even for that, something that is so critical, they do not get any kind of support. They keep they keep fighting for years and years and years, but nothing comes out of it. So just because KAILASA, Swamiji is giving them support, is empowering them so that they have a voice, so that they get the confidence to fight for their culture, for their traditions, fight for their environment. Just because of that, we are being persecuted, we are being attacked. And one thing I want to add also, being illegally, wrongfully detained means our delegates, our monks, the monks of the Sovereign Order of KAILASA's Nithyananda, would be facing so many human rights, basic human rights violations, because that detention itself is illegal, which means they would not be getting any water, they would not be getting any food, they would be tortured, be it physically tortured or psychologically tortured. So many human rights and religious rights violations they would be going through. So it is very, very important that we bring awareness to this persecution, the continued persecution that KAILASA has been facing for decades now. Just because we want to bring global peace, just because Swamiji is working so hard to bridge the gap between the ancient nations, the indigenous nations, and all people, just for the sake of global peace and coexistence among all people.
And I would actually like to add over to you, Ma. And one of the important things, as you told, right, especially with regards to the illegal detention and what would be happening, one of the main reasons why we actually don't even have that much of footage is because all the gadgets of our delegates, of our monks, when they were on the ground, were one, destroyed, second, they were broken and damaged by the mobs who were there. And you can also see evidently on the photographs where the local mobs were pointing at the cameras when our monks were trying to film what is going on, trying to protect our rights. But they were damaged. We were only able to secure a few photographs, a few videos of what was going on the ground before we completely lost connection with every one of them. The locals, and when I'm speaking about locals, it's not the indigenous, it is those who came along with the mayor and the deep state races who actually arrived on the ground with the various guns and other weapons. Those people, they actually later searched the bags of our delegates, they actually snatched it, they forced the boat driver to anchor the boat, not letting the delegates to leave, and they were put there under the pretense of a meeting about unspecified documents. And but there was absolutely no fact, there was no detail about any investigation or a warrant that was there to either search. And later, even after the police had arrived, they had colluded with the mob, demanding the passports, ignoring the pleas and the safety of our monks. That's what we are looking at.
And Parvati Swarupini is saying rather, did you know that international courts have repeatedly upheld that indigenous peoples have inherent rights to maintain connections to their ancestral territories regardless of borders? Yes, that is very true. But despite that, there's no respect to international laws. The persecution keeps happening. And, for example, even this detention, it is an illegal, it is a wrongful detention that is against all international human rights violations, international laws. But despite this, violations, persecution keep happening. And that is why, again, it is us that needs to raise the awareness to what is actually happening on ground. And, yes, just want to
Yes,
add to
actually
that
one.
is that there's many conventions also. For example, the UN DRIP by the United Nations, where so many countries have signed this convention that basically uphold the rights of the indigenous people. But despite this, the indigenous nations globally, they do face continuous persecution. They are denied their rights. And that is where Swamiji comes in. That is why Swamiji is extending empowerment, support to these indigenous nations, because it is required to unite all the indigenous nations globally under one umbrella, so that we together can work towards the preservation of our culture and tradition, and also the preservation of the environment.
As you had very rightly put it over here, Ma, one of the main other reasons why we are also looking at this is because the reason that it is not just local forces. I think one of the questions that we are also receiving is that is it just the local forces who are behind this, or is there some other local political power play that is responsible, or is it deeper than that? So what we are looking at here is, we are actually, honestly speaking, we are also really concerned about what is going on, because the entire team of monks, so it was not like one or two people, it is a whole group of monks who were actually serving, and all of them have disappeared. We don't have communication with any of them. Our local lawyers were there. We are not, they are also telling that this is a very unusual situation where we are also not able to get any information about what is going on, where are they, why were they all taken away, driven out, why all their items were confiscated. Still, we do not have any clue about what is going on. The only thing that we know is that this is racist, the deep state racist elements who are against the indigenous and against Kailasa who are facing this. I also want to put it here on record that even the indigenous nation presidents are receiving continuous death threats and are also facing the same persecution that Kailasa's monks and Kailasa's delegates are facing, which very clearly shows how the media is twisting everything and presenting to the world, where on the outer image they are trying to show that they are the people who are voicing out for the indigenous, but in the inside, when we look at the facts, their own people are also detained, they have also disappeared, and we do not know what is the situation that is going on right now.
In fact, the last reports we have from the team on the ground, especially the female team on the ground, they were saying they called and they were quite concerned because men were scaling the walls of their compound, jumping over, and illegally entered into their compound, and then we lost all connection with them. We don't know what happened. And they're completely cooperating. We completely cooperate with any kind of sort of questioning or anything that the authorities would want to see. They were cooperating with. So there's no need for any of this attacks where they're physically abusing, physically manhandling, and literally kidnapping, holding hostage our monks who have done nothing except to serve humanity. And just wanted to add, because this is a fundamental right, that they're not able to see their lawyers. They're cut off from all communication. They don't have their devices. We don't know what's happening to them. It's been almost 16 hours, and there's still no indication of why they're even detained. There's not a single written document, any kind of court order, any kind of arrest warrant. Nothing has been provided. Nothing has even been spoken to, even to the lawyers, who typically say this. They say this is not normal. This is illegal. This is completely illegal, that the lawyers cannot see their clients.
In fact, if we look at this on the other side, Kailasa has not done anything illegal. everything that Kailasa has done is completely in law, in the rights as per the constitution. In fact, even the agreements that have been signed by Kailasa are protocolized, they are notarized, they are apostle agreements which are there. And despite all of this, even though there is nothing illegal done, when I'm speaking about notarized and protocolized, that basically says that it is publicly available records, it's publicly available documents, and which is also being directly apostilled by the government as well of Bolivia. So this shows that we have nothing illegal. We are completely in the legal framework of Kailasa. It is the US organization of Kailasa, which is based in the US, that has signed these cooperation agreements with the local indigenous nations to provide them with the services. But what we are looking at here is absolute human rights violation by the Hindu-phobic, anti-indigenous, racist, and deep state fellows who have been continuously attacking Kailasa, monks of Kailasa, monks of the sovereign order of Kailasa, and they are illegally kidnapped. And as Dhyanatma Swami had shared, I would like to reiterate, we are not allowed to contact our lawyers. Our lawyers on the ground are not able to reach out to our delegation, to our monks, and we do not know what is going on, which is absolutely against all the international norms and protocols.
See, it's also against all international human rights violations that are happening to these, to our monks, right? And, these agreement that was signed, that, as you said, we are doing everything legally. The documents have been apostilled, they've been notarized. And despite this, the persecution is, keeps happening.
Actually, one point that I wanted to add here also is it's very important for all of us to know, up until now, we do not know what is happening to the monks. And so many women, and it's a lot of female monks that are there who are doing the service to the indigenous communities, and we have no clue of what is happening to these monks. And just in the morning, in the wee hours of the morning, we had people in uniform and random people scale into the female monastery campus. They scaled the walls, got into the female monastery campus, and from that point onwards, we have not been able to get in touch with any of the monks. All the female monks who are different, so people from different countries around the world who have come, who have been there to serve the people, serve the indigenous communities, we have not been able to get in touch with them. We do not know whatsoever is happening with the monks. Our lawyers have tried. What is happening right now is illegal. It is against the humanitarian rights, the fundamental rights, violating the rights to access to lawyer. And the lawyers of the female monks are standing and trying to get access. They are not being allowed. There are armed people standing around where the female monks are currently stationed. We are not able to know what is happening.
And the worst part is lawyers. Our own lawyers are not being allowed inside. That's the worst part. And these are local lawyers who are there, who can very well, as an international law, it is a fundamental right for us to have the access to our lawyers, our attorneys, but we are not even allowed to have that level access. Also, one very important thing that I'm just noticing here is, Dhyanatma Swami, could you just correct me if I'm wrong? As how I understand, the campuses of the female monks and of the male monks is completely separated, like they are miles apart. Am I right? And at the same time, this is like a multi-pronged attack. Did it happen like on the same day? It's happening on both places?
Exactly. You bring up an excellent point. These campuses are hundreds of miles apart. And at the same time, these raids, these attacks on them were happening, the kidnappings, holding them hostage, cutting them off from communication, manhandling them, you name it, has been happening at the same time.
And
this is
another thing I would like to add in over here to Dhyanatma Swami is that it's actually a very important point that was brought up. And in fact, given that Kailasa's delegation, Kailasa's monks locally have been serving various different indigenous nations. So it's not just one indigenous nation that Kailasa has been serving, but several indigenous nations have been served by Kailasa continuously. And in all of these places, the indigenous nations as well as Kailasa's monks were attacked simultaneously at the very same time. And this was actually a very well planned, targeted attack, because as we can see in the media over the last almost a week's time now, that the racist media, the anti-indigenous media, was publishing fake articles and deep state articles in the social media, in the mainstream media, that was instigating the locals or the others other than the indigenous to be prepared for what was going to happen, so they can cover the entire thing as an attack on the indigenous, completely convoluting the entire ideology that is there. They did not even take any statements from the actual indigenous people who are there on the ground. They just gave their own ideas that were there.
This is a very important point, because as a media, you're supposed to consider all the sides. So they did not ask any of the, okay, they didn't ask Kailasa. They did not even consider or consult with the indigenous people, and they had their own narratives prepared. Actually, this is only exposing a deeper level attack that is happening. It's a deeper level conspiracy.
And let alone asking, one important point that I want to mention here is this: they are instigating the mob to attack our monks. The mob is being instigated very systematically. This whole persecution that is happening right now, it is against all the indigenous communities, and very actually these deep state elements are instigating the people, the mob, against the monks there, and they are being physically assaulted and attacked. We have multiple media, live media right now covering as the attack is happening, but unfortunately the narratives that is being spread is completely false, and like hate speech is being spread and demonizing and vilifying what the services that Kailasa is doing and instigating mob to attack the monks of Kailasa. Till now, all our female monks have been illegally kidnapped. We do not know where they are. We do not know if they are safe. They are young monks. There's so many different women from different countries who are there. We do not know if they are safe. We are not able to, all their devices have been illegally confiscated, and they are not allowed to talk. They have not been allowed to interact with us whatsoever. Our lawyers are not able to reach them right now as we talk. Already so many hours have passed, almost a day has passed. We do not know the status of our sister monks.
So I'm seeing a question from Robin Taylor. She's asking, why is it always the female sannyasis? Why do they always attack the female sannyasis? I don't get it. It's actually not just the female sannyasis that are getting attacked. They are attacking indigenous people. They are actually targeting the different indigenous people, and simultaneously they're attacking. It's like a multi-pronged attack that's happening right now. And I'm seeing a question from Soumya, who's asking, how come attacks happen same time on both the campuses at miles apart? This raises concerns. Exactly the most shocking thing. I just want to have a little more insight on this, Dhyanatma Swami. If you could shed more light on this as to all these people. I know they're like in completely hundreds of miles apart, right? So none of them are actually connected. It's not just two groups, it's multiple groups of our sannyasis, indigenous people, and like whether the male monks, female monks, the indigenous people, and all of them are living as groups in different localities altogether. So this means they have been tracking us. Simultaneously, they launched this attack on all. Am I right?
They launched the attack on multi-levels, the media, through immigration, through various law enforcement, and like you pointed out, different, they call it departments. It's like different states, so different cities. And they've managed to do this without legal representation. It is absolutely shocking that for so long, people have been held in custody without their basic liberties. This is not something you hear of very often. Even in the worst countries, a lawyer is, the fact that a lawyer can see their client is respected in whichever level. Here, the lawyer is not even able to see the client. The lawyer was not even allowed into the premise of where the female monks were. And the lawyer is not given any information, not even to know basic of what is the reason for this. Show the arrest warrant if there's an arrest warrant. There isn't an arrest warrant. Show the court order. There's no court order. It's just simply they scaled the walls, they barged in, they manhandled, they cut off their devices. We lost all communication with them. And now they've been taken to some place. What's happening to them, we don't know.
My God,
And
this is so scary.
And we need to understand what
God.
this is happening to the female monks. And on the other side, to the male sannyasis, to the male monks, it is extremely disheartening what is going on right now. Because the crowd, the mob instigated by the deep state, and there are few men in uniform who came, they grabbed the personal belongings of the monks, and they went through all their passports, confiscated their passport, all their travel documents, personal documents, and they released it to the media. There were mob people, media that are broadcasting our sannyasis documents, their personal documents, passports, everything live. From morning for a whole 2 days, they have not been allowed to eat food or drink water. And we all should know, there are few people, indigenous communities, who have been benefited by the service of KAILASA, by the service that these monks are doing. Many indigenous communities are coming, trying to give some water and standing to support these monks, but the mob instigated by the deep state elements are attacking any indigenous person that is standing with us. Actually, just this morning, this has been going on for the last 2 days. The sannyasis have not been able to drink water for the last 2 days. In fact, one of them fainted on the ground. One of the male monks, he fainted on the ground, not being able to have access to water. When indigenous people who have been benefited by our services came in support, they were also attacked by the mob. These sannyasis were manhandled. When they were on the boat, they were first trapped on the boat, and they were grabbed by the crowd outside the boat, and they were made to walk for a few miles, while press, media, everyone came and covered them. And as the monks are trying to explain, their bags were grabbed from them, and all random people started going through their bags, and whatever their passports, all their travel documents, their personal documents, medical history, everything was confiscated, and they were given to the media. The media started streaming all of this, taking their personal documents and sensitive documents and showing it on live. On the other side, all their personal belongings were grabbed away from them. They were pushed, manhandled, and they were not allowed access even to have water. They literally, the sannyasi fainted on the ground because of not having even a morsel of food or water for almost 48 hours now.
Yeah, and I wanted to add to that. The scene was absolutely horrifying for our male monks. Okay, first of all, they, as you noted, they were manhandled. They were pulled off a boat. They were prevented from just simply going to the town to get supplies. And these are very simple beings. They built the house they are in with their own hands. It is a most simple accommodation that they built from the scratch, just so that they could have shelter and do the services in the community, the indigenous community. But in return, they were beaten, they were dragged off the boat, they were held at gunpoint. And then when they were forced to go to the center of the city, they were surrounded by the mayor and his henchmen, and they went through all of their belongings, trying to humiliate them. There were many people videotaping, recording the whole scene, went through all of their baggings in public. There's literally like 100 people watching. Is this an investigation? Is this law and order? It's a complete banana republic. How can this happen when people have simply dedicated their lives? They've taken vows of poverty. They've taken vows of austerity simply just for living for others. And this is the repayment that they get. And they were taken by force onto a plane, a car, dragged across country. We don't know where, we don't know what's happening to them. Similarly, we're not getting any answers.
And also, actually, Dhyanatma Swami, what you brought up now is a very important point that I want to add on. And all the viewers, if every one of you that are watching now, I see so many questions, so many comments that are coming continuously on YouTube. I request all of you, show your stand up and be a voice for this attack. Enough. We Hindus have been continuously persecuted no matter what. And now all the indigenous nations are being persecuted. It is important that we stand up. We request every one of you to use hashtag KAILASA Indigenous Nation Attack. And we are showing this hashtag for all of you right now. We request every one of you to take a moment. Please head to Twitter. Let us raise this voice. It is enough of these persecution. Anytime, wherever we do the service, whenever we do something good to humanity, and whenever we stand up for any rights of Hindus or rights of indigenous communities, we are being attacked. It is time we put a full stop to this. We need to raise it to the international, all the humanitarian watchdogs, all the different international humanitarian organizations. People need to know the truth of these attacks and persecutions that we are facing. And right now, as we talk, I see so many people, Ma Sonali, Ma Soumya, Sri Divya, Ma Patricia, and Ma Jing, Susan, Sandhya Nambiar, Hilde, and I have so many people, the comments actually flooding in support right now. But I request all of you to please take to Twitter. Use hashtag KAILASA Indigenous. Sorry, we request all of you to use hashtag KAILASA Indigenous Nation Attack, and please post, tweet, make the tweet. And right now, even as we talk, we have multiple Kailasas being attacked, the multiple places where one side, all the female monks, we have no idea. We don't even have access to them. There are so many young women who all came just to serve the indigenous community. They are being attacked. And on the other hand, our sannyasis, the monks, the male sannyasis are being attacked by the mob and crowd. The deep state elements have handed them off to the crowd. The crowd is manhandling them right now as we talk. We are not able to reach their personal belongings, including their phones. Everything has been grabbed. There are people with rifle and literally they're threatening them to the gunpoint, and they're forcing them with all their documents being taken away. They have not had a morsel of food or water, with one of our sannyasis even fainting there on ground. They have not had access to any basic food, and they're being tortured for the last 48 hours plus. And all the different women who are well educated from various different nationalities, citizens from various different countries who have come there to serve humanity. And we are very, very concerned right now. We are very, very, right now, as we talk, we do not know what is happening to our female monks. We do not know what is happening to the sannyasis. We have people who are well educated, who have left their high paying jobs. We have sannyasis who have left everything, who have come there just to serve the people. And lawyers, their fundamental right, a US citizen or anyone, international right, fundamental right is to have access to the lawyer. But they're being denied. The lawyers have been studying since morning. They're not being allowed. We have armed people, armed men standing around the monastery campus, and all of whom entered illegally. They had no warrant, they had nothing. They've all entered illegally into the campus. They scaled the walls and they literally surrounded the whole campus, not allowing our female monks to communicate with us, confiscated all of their devices. And on the other hand, the males, all the male sannyasis who are miles away at the same time are being attacked, physically being manhandled, and they have so many wounds, and they have literally, one of the sannyasis fainted on ground.
Actually, what is really, really very unsettling for me is that how can, see, we are not everyone is serving in different areas. These are hundreds of miles apart. What right do they have to stop the lawyers coming and helping? And this is like a multi-pronged attack. At the same time, the attack is happening in all these places. How is it fair? How is it right? I do not understand. Actually, it's very painful for me because our own sister monks whom we communicate with every day, and like I feel so bad. I do not know what's going on with them. I don't know what are they safe? Is everything okay with them? I don't know, because from morning we've not been able to contact them. The lawyers are there, they're trying their best. They are not able to even get in touch. They're not able to see because everywhere they have blocked. They've gotten, like, there are goons, there are uniformed armed men, and there is something going on over there. And everyone, there's a group of people, all of them suddenly just disappeared. Our monks gone. We don't know where they are. And this is just so scary. Right now, what right do they have? How can they do this?
And what is all of this for? The only thing that our monks have done is simple service, serving the community, not for 1 or 2 days, but for many months and nearly two now, doing so many different services there, doing free annadan, conducting yoga classes, empowering the communities there. And many of the communities have been benefited by all these services that we are extending there, and doing free food services to the people in need, and conducting the sessions you all can see here in various different pictures as shown, and serving the communities there, and conducting classes, conducting yoga classes for the children, and conducting various different programs. And this is how they are being attacked right now. The mob, instigated by all the misinformation and all the false news, and the deep state elements who are actively on ground, standing there, instigating the mobs to attack. And here you can see various different people surrounding the campus in which the boat in which our monks were. And here you can see the man standing here with a rifle. And these are just few pictures that we were able to gather from, but we still are not having access. We do not know what is happening with our monks. We are not able to come in contact with them. We are not able to get in touch with them. We do not know what is happening to them right now as we talk.
Actually, we are requesting and pleading with every single one of you. It's too disheartening, and I have no words to express. We really request every single one of you. We need your voices. We need every one of you to voice out this right now. It's so important. It's like, how is it happening right now? We are supposedly in the world with the most communication. We are in a world where social media, AI is there. And this is the situation. What's going on? How can we have the persecution happen right now, what we call as the most modern, very tech-savvy era where the communication is at the highest? How can we allow persecution to happen right now? No, we need to stop this. Please take a moment. I request all of you, share with everyone, plead everyone, every single one. This is not just an issue, not even just for Hindus. No, this is for humanity, because indigenous people are getting attacked. Already, so many indigenous civilizations have been demolished. We need to say this right now. We request all of you, please take a moment. Please use the hashtag Kailasa Indigenous Nation Attack. And please go ahead, share this with everyone. We need all of your voices. Any questions you have, please come to the YouTube live right now. You can post it in the comment section. We are ready to answer you. This is a humble request. We have not been able to reach any of our monks, and even the indigenous people. Our community has become unreachable right now because all their phones, everything is getting confiscated. It's too important.
And I request all the members. Right now, I already see so many people have started tweeting. So many people are posting. And right now, as you're all watching, I urge every one of you, take to Twitter, tag all the all the international humanitarian orgs, tag everyone. Let us reach this right news to people. Please tag the leaders and the heads of your states and people, media, everyone in your country, in your locality. Let us take this to the world right now. And I already see many people tweeting here. Ma Ekapada Shaktini has posted, Kailasa is a legitimate nation focused solely on global peace. Absolutely right, Ma. With the years of service that Swamiji has done, we can clearly see the only goal for Kailasa has always been and will always be for serving the humanity. Ma Medellin Portuguese has posted, the rights of indigenous people have been trampled on and violated for centuries. And this attack is no different. Kailasa stands up and defends their rights. And for this, we are now being targeted again. This is very, very important. Thank you so much for sharing this, Ma Medellin Portuguese, because all we have been doing is to stand up to become that unified voice, to unite all the indigenous nations. For so many years, decades, generations now, the indigenous groups have been persecuted and targeted, singled out. In fact, if we take various different countries in South America, North America, both, 99% of these indigenous communities have lost their lands. Their land, whether they have been victims of land grabbing, they have been victims of persecution, attacks, killing, genocide, ethnocide, and they have been attacked of cultural delegitimization and so many things. To this day, there is no platform for these indigenous people to go and request or stand up or ask for their rights. It is for the first time, Swamiji, that united all the indigenous nations from around the world, became a unified platforms. We have over 100 indigenous nations that has come together, and this scale of the revival that is happening is what exactly the deep state elements are not able to handle, which is why even here, as soon as seeing the active service that Swamiji has been doing, that continuously these attacks are happening. We have Kailasa Singapore that has posted, Bolivian journalists have a duty to report the truth. They have fueled a racist attack on Kailasa's indigenous Hindu traditions. This discrimination endangers not just one community, but all indigenous people striving for recognition. This is very, very important. And most importantly, I'd like to also highlight is none of these facts are being shown by any of the media houses. All misinformation, fake news, and false allegations are being spread, propagated by the deep state backed medias, the politically backed deep state owned medias, which are continuously propagating negative hate speech, that are propagating false news, fake news, and instigating people to attack. In fact, just yesterday evening, we had a whole group of the deep state elements that surrounded the monks, the male sannyasis. Throughout the day they were there, and they got in a lot of these deep state press and media that came, and they started literally shoving the camera on the faces of our monks. They started physically assaulting the male sannyasis. They were not allowed to go anywhere. They were not allowed to move, and they had so many wounds. They were bleeding because of the attack that mob was having, because they instigated the mob. The mob was angry, and they were manhandling the sannyasis there, and they were not getting any protection from any of the officials whatsoever, because the deep state, the politicians were standing on the ground and masterminding this entire attack. And many indigenous groups, which has been benefited by our services, who know the real intentions and how Kailasa has been serving, in support of so many indigenous groups came together, and they started voicing in support of Kailasa, in support of the monks. All of them were also manhandled and beaten, attacked. This is the current status, but none of the media houses are showcasing any of this information. They are not showing what currently is happening to our monks. And I still see I see another person from Malaysia was posted, this is absolutely atrocious, these attacks on Kailasa. And just to remind this is not just singling out Kailasa alone. This is all the indigenous communities, indigenous groups that have stood for their rights. Everyone, all the indigenous groups that have joined together with Kailasa, all the indigenous organizations that are standing and voicing out for their rights are being attacked. Anyone that is going and speaking the truth right now are being attacked. They have no protection.
Actually, a very important thing right now is what's happening right now as all of us are talking is understand, as we were mentioning, this attack which is happening is being done on many of the indigenous nations, and every indigenous nations that are standing, voicing out even to support the people who are getting attacked. Understand, this is not just on Kailasa. It's happening everyone, like the presidents of the indigenous nations are all receiving death threats. What's going on? This needs to stop. We really request, and we already see a lot of people supporting using this hashtag Kailasa Indigenous Nation attack. We request every one of you, everyone that are here right now, please go ahead, take this hashtag and post your comments. I already see some people posting on YouTube. We request all of you, take it to Twitter. Gevashe Hosine has posted, I don't understand how they entered campus. Is not Kailasa a sovereign state in that area? Understand, I just wanted to tell this, what attack is happening is not happening in the sovereign state. It's happening wherever Kailasa monks from the sovereign state are going to serve the communities, to serve people. There the attack, and this is not happening by the indigenous community there. We are going to serve people. Like for example, to do the Annadam, means the free food service that we have been doing when our monks wanted to get more supplies for this Annadam. So you have to go to another town, you need to procure these items and you need to come back. So when they were getting on the boat, this happened in one side. I'm just sharing with you what exactly went on. So one side, the male monks who had went there, who had gone to procure the items that are needed, they were suddenly surrounded by a mob. And the mob that was there was not any of the local indigenous people. These were henchmen that were brought in. And suddenly they were surrounded. They started manhandling them. They confiscated their devices. They started breaking their devices and physically abusing them. And at the same time, there were also some of the female monks who were serving a completely different community. Just understand, please understand the whole thing, because it's different parts of the community where we are serving. And when they are serving a different part of the community, all of a sudden, at the same time, this is all happening simultaneously. That's what is really scary. Innocent women, monks, they are serving in their area. All of a sudden, the armed men barged into the campus. They started scaling the walls of an all-female monastery campus. And this is where they're serving the people. And suddenly, it started as if it's an interrogation. And all of a sudden, everyone's mobile phones were confiscated, all their documents taken away. They were fully surrounded. And immediately, in the beginning, first, as soon as the armed men entered, the female monks over there, the sannyasis, tried to contact the local police, local lawyers, and the local lawyers are trying to come in. But these armed men did not allow. They completely blocked that whole area. So nobody could enter. We do not know what's happening. It's been more than, I think it's over 18 hours now. It's been a very long time. We do not know if they are okay, if anything really bad has not happened to them. We don't know. They're women. These are men. They're all female sannyasis, and they do not have any way to protect themselves. They do not have, they are completely non-violent people. So that is what is really concerning us, because we do not know what's happening there.
It's also very important to understand that all these monks and nuns, they are very well educated people who have left behind their entire life, their lifestyle, their high-paying jobs their love and dear ones, just to come and serve the people on ground. They've literally sacrificed everything just to come and serve these people. And despite this, they are being treated, worse than animals also, not being given, food or water, medical care, nothing. They are just trapped. And what for, right? What is the point of holding them? They've not done any crimes. They've not done anything wrong. They are just wanting to help these people on ground. And it is these indigenous people themselves who have come forward. It's not like we are just giving the services that we are wanting to give them. It is them who have come and told us, we want for example, services in terms of education, in terms of food, and whatnot. And we are going, these nuns and monks, they have sacrificed everything to go there and serve these people and offer them what they are looking for, what they've been looking for. And no one else is giving them, no one else is offering them. So it is very important to understand this, that these beings, these girls, these women, these boys, they have literally sacrificed everything for the sake of others.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Ma. And also with all of us, we have today Dr. Miguel, who is an advocate from Ecuador, who is KAILASA's lawyer. And we would actually want Dr. Miguel to share with all of us the human rights abuses which are going on to our monks, to the indigenous people, and the illegal attack and persecution that is going on to all the monks of KAILASA and the indigenous people in Bolivia. Adelante, doctor Miguel. Buenas tardes.
Muy buenas tardes, señor embajador. Un gusto saludarle. Hola.
Sí, escucha. Podemos
Perfecto.
empezar, doctor Miguel. Sí.
Bueno, lo que debo comentar es que las personas son monjes, son sannyasis que han llegado a las comunidades indígenas ancestrales de Bolivia para realizar trabajo humanitario, servicios de yoga, servicios de educación, de salud, ¿sí? Sin embargo, por prestar estos servicios han sido mal observados por algunas personas de algunas comunidades que, desconociendo la realidad de los servicios que prestan los monjes, los sannyasis de KAILASA, los han retenido de forma injusta, ¿sí? Ahora tenemos conocimiento que los monjes están retenidos sin ninguna justificación por parte de migración, por parte del gobierno de Bolivia. Es decir, los han trasladado desde las comunidades hasta el Beni, a la migración de Beni. En otro caso, el domicilio donde vivían o residían ha sido allanado. Sin embargo, hasta la presente fecha y hora, se desconoce cuáles son los cargos que se imputan o se acusan a nuestros monjes o sannyasis, ¿sí? Entonces, estamos en esa situación de averiguar cuál es la situación jurídica de los monjes de KAILASA. Como dije, e insisto, ellos lo único que han hecho es prestar servicios gratuitos, servicios humanitarios para los pueblos originarios de Bolivia.
Gracias. Gracias, doctor Miguel.
¿Alguna pregunta,
¿Te
por
gustaría
favor?
compartir más?
Sí. Bueno, efectivamente. Entonces, ahora se está realizando las acciones judiciales correspondientes con la finalidad de que el Estado boliviano determine la situación jurídica de los sannyasis o monjes de KAILASA. como dije. Esa es la preocupación apremiante ahora. ¿Por qué? Porque se han violado los derechos humanos de los monjes. Recordemos que Bolivia es signatario de la Declaración Universal de Derechos Humanos, del Pacto de San José y muchos pactos, tratados y convenios internacionales, ¿sí?, que tutelan y protegen la individualidad, ¿sí?, el derecho a la vida, a la integridad física y psicológica de todo ser humano, indistintamente de la acción o acto que haya cometido, pero que en este caso de nuestros monjes no han cometido ninguna infracción penal, ¿sí? ¿Por qué? Porque ellos lo único que han hecho es trasladarse a las comunidades a prestar los servicios humanitarios. No existe ninguna infracción penal que haya sido cometido por ellos. Por lo tanto, su detención o retención, tanto en migración, tanto en las diferentes instituciones, así como el allanamiento, ¿sí?, del lugar o casa de habitación, es totalmente ilegal. Lo que debe hacer el gobierno boliviano es poner en libertad de manera inmediata a los monjes, porque incluso su situación jurídica en cuanto a migración, su estatus migratorio es legítima, es legal. No han excedido los plazos determinados por migración, de tal manera que al no existir ningún cargo, ninguna acción ilícita por parte de ellos, tampoco haber o estar en una situación migratoria ilegal, su permanencia en Bolivia, por lo tanto, deben ser ordenada de manera inmediata su libertad. No se puede tener a los monjes privados de la libertad. Es por eso que nosotros hemos iniciado ya la acción legal correspondiente con la finalidad de que el gobierno boliviano determine su ubicación, su estatus jurídico, cuáles son los cargos que se imputan a nuestros monjes, con la finalidad de qué? De demostrar, ¿sí?, de que primeramente se violaron los derechos humanos de los monjes y segundo, de que no existe ningún cargo, ninguna responsabilidad de ninguna naturaleza que comprometa su situación jurídica. Por lo tanto, nosotros vamos a exigir que el Estado boliviano, ¿sí?, no se deje llevar, ¿sí?, no se deje llevar por las falsas acusaciones que salen en redes sociales, como que KAILASA ha comprado tierras, como que KAILASA tiene tierras para explotar a los pueblos indígenas, para explotar recursos naturales. KAILASA lo único que hace es proteger los derechos culturales y ancestrales de los pueblos indígenas. Por eso ha enviado a los monjes a sus territorios, ¿sí?, para que ellos trabajen conjuntamente con los pueblos indígenas y así en algún momento puedan también llegar a tener conocimiento, ¿sí?, en todos los aspectos y puedan tener una vida digna. Nosotros no nos involucramos en actividades políticas, ¿sí? Lo único que nos mueve a nosotros es apoyar y trabajar con las comunidades y pueblos indígenas del mundo. Eso es lo que nos mueve. Y mientras tanto, como digo, insisto, ratifico de que nuestros sannyasis han sido vulnerados sus derechos humanos y por lo tanto el gobierno boliviano debe responder por eso, por cuanto que no existe ningún acto ilegal cometido por parte de los monjes o sannyasis que se encuentran ilegítimamente retenidos en la ciudad, en el sector de migración del Estado boliviano.
Gracias, gracias, Dr. Miguel. And to translate for everybody watching us live on the various social media platforms, Dr. Miguel was, as a lawyer, giving his legal opinion on the current injustice that has been happening to our indigenous people and to our monks, which are happening right now. And Senor Miguel was talking about the rights, the human rights of the various international treaties, various international conventions, and how the basic human rights have been denied to our monks, to the indigenous people. Dr. Miguel was also talking about how that in this case, our monks have only been coming to provide humanitarian services, providing free food, providing free education, literally helping the indigenous communities of Bolivia. And this is the response that they receive, that their basic human rights are being denied, whether psychologically, whether physically, their basic human rights are being denied, and they have not committed any criminal offenses. They have not done anything. They are literally monks who are providing humanitarian service for the welfare of the indigenous people. In fact, the indigenous people were so welcoming to Kailasa were so welcoming with the monks and literally had an emotional attachment with the monks that they were so upset when this is happening personally, whether it is the presidents of the indigenous people, whether it is the community leaders of the indigenous people, were so upset that this is happening to Kailasa, that it is happening to the monks of Kailasa who helped them all these months, all these years. And Senor Miguel was also talking about the human rights which were violated, and there is all the accusations that have been coming on social media are totally false, like whether Kailasa has bought land or Kailasa exploits the indigenous land of the indigenous people to exploit the natural resources. All of these are completely false. As we had mentioned earlier, Kailasa is very much aligned. Our treaties, our actions, Kailasa holds the highest principles of non-violence. Our monks take the vow of non-violence, where we do not even hurt plants or animals, forget about natural resources, trying to hurt the ecosystem. And Senor Miguel was talking about all of these as completely false and just false accusations which are floating around in social media, and again reiterated that the monks of Kailasa only were there to provide humanitarian work and to help the indigenous communities, and for the international community to recognize this and to share this with every single person, to uphold the rights, the human rights, the basic human rights of our monks, and to tell the whole international community the truth about what is happening to Kailasa and the indigenous people in Bolivia. Kailasa, Bolivia.
We thank Dr. Miguel for this. Actually, just to give a quick brief, it is this attorney, Dr. Miguel, attorney here with us. He was the one who was there on ground. He was also one of the lawyers who were there on ground trying to get justice, to somehow contact our female sannyasis, to somehow get in touch. Until now, unfortunately, we have not been able to contact them. We do not know what is happening. He, as a lawyer, tried multiple times, and even many of the lawyers locally that are there are been trying to get in touch somehow to know what's the situation with the monks, to know what is happening. And he has been continuously trying to tell the truth to the media. But unfortunately, the Hindu-phobic, Hindu-mesic, anti-indigenous media is completely projecting only the lies, and they're not taking any of the statements, neither of Kailasas, nor of the lawyers, nor of the indigenous people. So the situation right now is getting really, really concerning.
And also, as Senor Miguel just highlighted a very important point, he said that how currently the monks' human rights are being violated. The monks that are there, all the female monastery, the members, the female monks who are there, and the male monks both, their human rights have been violated. They have been deprived of food. They are being illegally kidnapped. We do not know where they are. And all the Hindu-mesic, Hindu-phobic media houses are inciting hatred, instigating the mob against the monks, which is very, very serious, because there is no one there on ground who is protecting the monks. The deep state elements, the Hindu-mesic, Hindu-phobic deep state elements on ground are actively instigating the mob to attack our innocent monks who have been there only of service to the countries and serving the indigenous communities there. And as Senor Miguel also highlighted that how currently they're not able to access our monks. They're not, the legal team on ground is trying to reach. The basic fundamental right to access to lawyer is being denied. As you all can see, he's a renowned lawyer who's here with us on live, who's telling right now on ground, from the ground, he's reporting where he's not able to access the people. He is not able to get in touch. And this is the current scenario. There's so much of hate speech, racist, anti-Hindu hate speech being spread by Hinduistic, Hinduphobic elements actively, which is completely masterminded, orchestrated by the deep state elements. We have seen this happen time and again. No matter which place we go, wherever, when there is service happening, and especially when it comes to empowering the indigenous communities, especially whenever it comes to empowering, serving the women, empowering indigenous communities, we are being attacked. And today, along with KAILASA, 100 other indigenous nations that are standing with KAILASA right now as we speak, every single one of us are being attacked. The heads of the various different indigenous communities are standing with KAILASA and supporting KAILASA, and anyone that comes in support of KAILASA, what the services that Swamiji is doing through KAILASA is also being attacked. This is the life scenario. This is what is happening right now as we talk. It is important that we, all the viewers, every one of you, please take to Twitter, take a few minutes and please post what your thoughts are. We are also having the inputs directly from the lawyer himself on ground, who is sharing, who is reiterating to us the gravity of the situation that is happening on ground currently. We are not able to get access to our monks. We don't know what is happening to them. We don't know if they are safe. We do not know how they are. We do not know in what condition they are in. All the monks, women, men from various different backgrounds, various different countries, walks of life, who have had who are all well educated, who have left their high-paying jobs and good jobs to come here to serve the community, to serve the humanity, are being attacked. Our lawyers are not able to gain access to their clients, to them, to the monks. This is something like, it's not something, I'm not understanding how so blatantly they're able to do this. This is not something normal. This is atrocious. I have
Sí, doctor Miguel,
Dr. Miguel, I have a question.
Doctor Miguel, una pregunta. Los espectadores quieren preguntarle al doctor Miguel, nuestros abogados no pueden comunicarse con nuestros monjes. ¿Es esto siquiera legal?
No, eso no es legal en todas las partes del mundo, en todos los países del mundo. Y en este caso, Suramérica, Bolivia es signatario del Pacto de San José, donde declara que los derechos fundamentales de las personas es de tener el derecho de tener contacto con su abogado defensor desde el momento mismo de que es sujeto de cualquier acto judicial, que en este caso los monjes o sannyasis que se encuentran injustamente detenidos en Bolivia, no se les ha permitido el derecho de contar con un abogado, no se les ha permitido el derecho de hacer una llamada a su familiar más cercano, no se les ha permitido o no se ha comunicado con su embajada o consulado correspondiente. Todo esto es una violación flagrante de los derechos humanos del Pacto de San José o de Costa Rica o la Declaración Universal de los Derechos Humanos. Todo esto constituye un acto violento por parte del Estado que no respeta los tratados internacionales ratificados por ellos mismos. Asimismo, que no respeta su Constitución de la República, que determina las garantías básicas del debido proceso de toda persona que ha sido detenida o ha sido procesada, que en este caso, como insisto, se han violado el gobierno boliviano todos los derechos fundamentales, el debido proceso, todas las garantías, por ejemplo, el derecho a la vida, el derecho a la asistencia de un abogado o de un defensor público. ¿Sí? Entonces, no conocemos la situación, si estarán vivos, si estarán muertos. No conocemos su situación psicológica, física. Entonces, todo esto constituye una violación de los derechos humanos y que nosotros debemos intentar desde ya poner las acciones legales correspondientes ante los organismos internacionales. Insisto, el gobierno boliviano, lejos de ser un Estado que respeta los derechos fundamentales, se ha dejado llevar de lo que dicen en redes sociales, se ha dejado llevar de lo que dicen los políticos, que solo buscan connotación política para hacer daño al gobierno. Y sobre eso han perjudicado y han violentado los derechos humanos de nuestros monjes o de nuestros sannyasis que se encuentran injustamente detenidos en Bolivia. Como dije, nosotros vamos a iniciar las acciones legales en el ámbito internacional, porque aquí no existe ninguna acción judicial que haya dispuesto que se inmovilice o se inhiba su derecho a la movilización universal de estas personas. Como dije, todo ciudadano del mundo tiene derecho a transitar libremente por cualquier país del mundo de acuerdo a las reglas que determine cada país. Y en este caso, nuestros monjes, ¿sí?, cumplen con toda la normativa migratoria. Su estatus legal es jurídica. No existe ninguna razón para que el Estado boliviano haya procedido. Lo que ha sucedido ahí es un acto de barbarie, ¿sí? Es un acto primitivo que afecta totalmente el Estado de Derecho y demuestra ante el mundo de que Bolivia viola derechos de los ciudadanos, en este caso, con estatus migratorio legal. Por lo tanto, yo insisto una vez más y decirle a la ciudadanía del mundo que el Estado boliviano, insisto, ha vulnerado los derechos humanos de estas personas. Además, debo hacer hincapié en lo siguiente, que toda esta detención ilegal no viene de una orden judicial. Todo esto viene porque el gobierno ha escuchado que en redes sociales un grupo de indígenas se encuentra en una comunidad y por lo tanto movilizan todo el ejército, movilizan toda la fiscalía, movilizan todo lo que es el aparato migratorio y sin justificación alguna los detienen. Todo esto al margen de los derechos humanos. Y lo único que han hecho los saniesis es prestar labor humanitaria. De eso, de la labor humanitaria, pueden dar fe los dirigentes de las comunidades, los capitanes grandes de las comunidades, que son ellos los que han permitido, han invitado a nuestros saniesis que lleguen a las comunidades a prestar ese apoyo humanitario. ¿Sí? Entonces, no están de manera ilegal, no han llegado de manera ilegal a las comunidades como piensa y dicen las redes sociales, porque en redes sociales se dice de todo, que nosotros compramos tierra, ¿sí?, que nosotros somos violadores, que nosotros somos defraudadores. En ningún momento ningún dirigente de la comunidad se ha pronunciado con respecto de las denuncias de KAILASA. ¿Por qué? Porque no existe motivo, porque todos los compromisos que ha hecho KAILASA con las comunidades han sido cumplidos tajantemente como se ha acordado con ellos. Entonces ustedes deben permitir también que las comunidades hablen y digan en qué momento KAILASA les ha estafado, porque eso jamás ha ocurrido, porque en redes también dice que KAILASA les ha estafado. Pregúntenle a los dirigentes de las comunidades si KAILASA les ha estafado. Nosotros hemos llegado a un acuerdo con ellos para prestarles ayuda humanitaria a perpetuidad, porque nosotros creemos que los pueblos indígenas no duran 20, 30, 40 años. Son pueblos indígenas ancestrales que han vivido en el planeta Tierra durante miles de años y van a seguir viviendo miles de años. Y nosotros lo que hemos hecho es una cooperación con territorios indígenas y pueblos indígenas que gozan del principio de la autodeterminación, no para apropiarnos de las tierras ni de los recursos naturales, sino para proteger su situación, su existencia, los recursos naturales a perpetuidad, no para ir a saquear, porque nosotros como KAILASA somos religiosos, somos espiritualistas, creemos, ¿sí?, de que la naturaleza y todo debe ser conservado, porque se vive con armonía con la naturaleza, pero más no para destruir. Lo que queremos es que los pueblos indígenas mantengan sus costumbres ancestrales, mantengan su diversidad cultural, su lengua, sus costumbres, sus comidas, sus bebidas, su idioma, su cosmovisión. Y nosotros trabajamos para eso, para que ellos en el tiempo alcancen un buen vivir, manteniendo sus costumbres ancestrales. Todo eso es lo que han hecho los saniesis y por eso han sido detenidos injustamente y el Estado no responde hasta sobre la situación de ellos. Por lo tanto, nosotros, como dije, insisto en ratificar que sea dispuesto ya al equipo de abogados para que realicemos las acciones legales correspondientes por esta atroz violación de los derechos humanos que ha puesto sobre todo de que la vida de nuestros saniesis se encuentre en riesgo. Como dije, no sabemos, ¿sí?, no sabemos si nuestros saniesis están aún con vida, porque no se nos ha permitido en ningún momento tomar contacto con ellos. Tengamos en cuenta que no existe ninguna orden judicial para esa retención, porque efectivamente no existe ningún cargo, porque los saniesis no han cometido ninguna infracción penal, no han cometido ninguna acción que atente los principios del Estado de Derecho del Estado boliviano. Lo único que han hecho es trabajar incansablemente por los derechos de los pueblos indígenas de Bolivia, y así como lo han hecho en otras partes del mundo, trabajar para el desarrollo, para que nuestros pueblos indígenas tengan autoestima, para que puedan vivir con dignidad para 1000, para 2000, para 3000 años y hasta la eternidad. Eso es lo que hacemos nosotros como KAILASA, y lo vamos a seguir haciendo, porque nosotros no violamos derechos, respetamos los territorios ancestrales, porque todo el mundo sabe, en Bolivia, hasta el más elemental ciudadano conoce de que los territorios ancestrales son inalienables, indivisibles y imprescriptibles. Está protegido por la Constitución boliviana y también por los pactos, tratados y convenios internacionales. Las tierras de los pueblos indígenas no se pueden vender, no se pueden comprar. Y eso nosotros sabemos y respetamos, y los acuerdos que nosotros hemos llegado con los dirigentes de las comunidades va en ese sentido. No atropellar derechos de pueblos indígenas, más bien nosotros propendemos de que nuestros pueblos ancestrales del mundo logren algún día en lo que debieron ser en su debido momento. Autónomos, dueños de su propio desarrollo, respetando obviamente que sí, el Estado de Derecho constituido del Estado boliviano, no para cercenar el Estado de Derecho boliviano, sino que más bien coadyuvamos a que su pueblo indígena viva o tenga una vida digna, con educación, con salud, con alumbrado. Eso es lo que nosotros hacemos. Ahora bien, debo también aclarar que dicen que KAILASA no existe. Eso también es una aberración, porque KAILASA existe. El hecho mismo que estemos allá y que todas las redes sociales manifiesten de KAILASA es porque KAILASA existe. Y nadie le puede quitar el derecho que, siendo una nación originaria de la India, reconocida por miles de años por muchos reinos, se agrupe y se constituya como lo que fue su estado o su reino antiguamente. Así como los pueblos indígenas de Bolivia han existido miles de años, han tenido caciques, capitanes grandes, pero ellos mantienen todavía su identidad, su territorio, su cosmovisión. En el caso que de la India no sucedió así. El pueblo indígena de KAILASA ya no cuenta por la persecución política y religiosa que sufrió durante miles de años. Pero eso no quita de que se reagrupe y decidan continuar con su legado ancestral. Ese derecho es un derecho internacional, es un derecho humano, es un derecho natural, que nadie puede arrancar o cercenar la ancestralidad de cada pueblo. Y eso es KAILASA. Nadie le puede quitar el derecho de lograr durante todo el proceso de que se constituya como tal en un Estado. Eso es un derecho que nadie lo puede negar. Obviamente que en este proceso van a suceder muchas cosas de persecución. Pongámonos un ejemplo, hagamos una analogía. Veamos el estado atípico de Roma. Es un estado atípico romano. Lo que aspira KAILASA a ser un estado de aquí a muchos años. ¿Por qué? Porque goza de legitimidad ancestral, porque sus reinos originarios y ancestrales están en la India, que fueron perseguidos y extinguidos, pero existe el pueblo que ha retomado esos principios y esa cosmovisión de aquellos pueblos y se han organizado. Ese es un derecho innato que nadie puede negar. Por eso hemos acudido a todos los organismos internacionales en ese trabajo, en esa lucha para reconocer a los Estados Unidos de KAILASA como pueblo originario y ancestral de la India. Eso es, pero KAILASA existe. No se puede decir que KAILASA no existe. Tenemos nuestro propio sistema de gobierno, como lo fue hace miles de años. Nuestro propio idioma, nuestra propia religión o cosmovisión. Eso es KAILASA. También dice que KAILASA es una secta. Totalmente equivocados. ¿Quién puede definir el concepto o definición de secta? Entonces quiere decir que todas las religiones del mundo son una secta. No, señores, tenemos que aprender a respetar el derecho a la libertad de conciencia y de pensamiento. Cualquier ciudadano puede adorar o creer en lo que crea, en lo que considere para él su deidad o su Dios. En el caso de KAILASA, son gente espiritual que cree en el cosmos, que cree que todo el universo, que todos los seres humanos que viven en el planeta Tierra somos el Dios realmente, y que queremos que la gente, como un ser humano innato, reconozca esos valores como individuo que tiene en su corazón, en su mente, en su actuar, sin hacer el daño a los demás. Eso es lo que es KAILASA, no es una secta. No cobramos por dar una misa, no cobramos por bautizar un niño, no cobramos por hacer actividades religiosas. Todo lo que KAILASA da, lo da gratis, porque así debe ser la humanidad. La gratuidad, la humanización de los actos de los seres humanos es lo que importa. Entonces, esa tergiversación, esa mala información que han salido por TikTokers, que no saben lo que dicen, que no investigan, que lo único que quieren es fama, han destruido y han calumniado y han injuriado a los Estados Unidos de KAILASA. Y eso nosotros vamos a demostrar con el tiempo. Lo que sucede es que, de acuerdo a los principios de KAILASA, no son un pueblo beligerante, son un pueblo amistoso, que por eso no ha salido a reclamar. Pero esta vez ya es demasiado, por cuanto que se han vulnerado los derechos universales de nuestros sannyasi. Y esa es la aclaración que debemos hacer, y que se lo haga para todas las personas del planeta Tierra, porque hay mucha mala información y mucha mala tergiversación a KAILASA, sin que KAILASA ha hecho nada. Que KAILASA ha comprado una isla en Galápagos, en Ecuador. Las islas no se pueden comprar, es patrimonio cultural de la humanidad. Toda esa información es realizada por TikTokers que no tienen nada que hacer, que se dedican a tener fama a través de estos medios digitales. Pueden hacer lo que sea, pero para poder hablar de algo tan importante como KAILASA, se tiene que investigar e ir a la fuente. Estoy a las órdenes para las preguntas que estimen necesarias.
Gracias. Muchas gracias, Dr. Miguel. And to all the viewers watching us live, we also wanted to translate what Dr. Miguel was saying. To begin with, Dr. Miguel said that we had asked Dr. Miguel the question that our sannyasis, our monks, where the basic human rights were being denied, the basic legal right to speak to an attorney was being denied. And Senor Miguel has beautifully explained that this is not the case. And many countries, including the countries in South America, are the signatory of various conventions that declare the fundamental rights of people, and not having the contact with even their attorney is a denial of their basic human rights. And in this case, the monks our sannyasis have not even received this basic human right, and this human right itself has been denied. And this is a violation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the various conventions that the South American states have and are a signatory of. And all these are direct violations of the basic human rights and the basic rights for every person. And all of them have a right to life, to a right to an attorney. And we don't know if they are safe, if they are well, if they have eaten, if any food, water, basic necessities have been given to all of them. And all this is a direct violation of human rights. And we call upon the international community, we call upon the various humanitarian institutions to bring justice to our monks, to our sannyasis, who literally have only been doing the humanitarian services and have been selflessly working for the benefit and with the indigenous people of Bolivia. And right now, their basic human rights are being denied, and our sannyasis, Senor Miguel has said that we are going to initiate legal action at an international level and notify the international community of the human rights violations which are happening to the Hindu monks, the human rights violation that is being committed against our monks, being committed against the monks of Kailasa and the indigenous people of Bolivia. And he explained also that every citizen has the right to freely travel, and this basic human right of the restriction of movement is being denied for our sannyasis right now. And they have not committed any crime, they have not committed any offense, and it is just the direct persecution from the deep state of illegally withholding our monks, illegally detaining our monks, our sannyasis, and we call upon the international community to condemn what is happening against our sannyasis, our international monks. And Senor Miguel also expanded about the various comments that are going on in and around social media that Kailasa is not a state. Senor Miguel said that as per the various laws of self-determination and various other laws of the international law, Kailasa is a state as per international law, just like how the indigenous nations in the various parts of South America are the original indigenous nations. Same way, in the part of self-determination, Kailasa is a state as per international law. Kailasa maintains diplomatic relations with multiple countries across the globe. Kailasa fulfills the various international norms of being a state. And Senor Miguel also said that there are various accusations that Kailasa is trying to fraud the indigenous people, but Kailasa has only been working with the indigenous community, and in fact the indigenous community also is in agreement with Kailasa and is thankful for Kailasa to come and to help them provide the humanitarian services in perpetuity. And Kailasa has been working with the indigenous nations, and we don't just last, our humanitarian aid does not last just 30 or 40 years. And as brothers and sisters of indigenous people, as Kailasa, one of the founding members of the United Ancient Nations intergovernmental organization standing for indigenous people at the international level, Kailasa provides the humanitarian services for thousands of years to support our indigenous brothers and sisters worldwide. And Kailasa is not here to appropriate their lands or natural resources. Kailasa is spiritual, Kailasa is religious, Kailasa is completely non-violent and lives in harmony with the nature, not to destroy, but to preserve the nation, to preserve the indigenous customs, to maintain our cultural identity, to maintain our diversity in culture, our customs, our language. And Kailasa works towards preserving and defending the rights of the indigenous people, preserving the customs, the culture of indigenous people worldwide. And when Kailasa is doing all of this, our monks, our sannyasis are doing all of this illegally. They have been detained and there is no response. And our attorneys are trying to reach our monks, our attorneys are trying to be in contact, but still we are not able to get in contact with our monks who have been illegally kept in custody, who have been detained, and there is no court order, there are no charges, there are no offenses, they have not committed anything illegal, they've only been doing the humanitarian services. And as per the basic laws and rights of the human rights, they have been only working tirelessly for giving the humanitarian aid for the indigenous people in Bolivia. And while they've been doing all this, they have been now inhumanly treated, and completely their basic rights have been violated. And this is against the constitution of Bolivia, against the constitution of the various South American countries where the Constitution does hold a high regard for human rights. The Constitution does hold the basic human necessities of providing the basic needs for every person. And this is what is being committed against the monks, against sannyasis, is against the constitution of their own country, and they are going against their own constitution, while Kailasa has only been providing the humanitarian services, and including Bolivia and many other countries are signatories of the international pacts of and international agreements, international treaties, which is directly implementable, whether it is the Treaty of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights or whether it's a treaty of the ILO Convention, which respects the rights of indigenous people. The various treaties, it goes completely against their own constitution, against these international treaties that they themselves have signed. And Senor Miguel also told about many people commenting that Kailasa does not exist. Kailasa does exist as a continuation of the various 56 Hindu nations that existed for thousands of years. Kailasa, as the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, is the current emperor of 21 of these ancient kingdoms. Even the United Nations has recognized this continuity and the legal personality, the juridical statehood of Kailasa. And the self-determination is an international right. It is a human right, and no one can take away the identity of the nation from the people. And whether it is the state, whether it is anyone, cannot belittle the right of self-determination. And of course, Senor Miguel also told about the persecution that is going on to Kailasa on social media, with accusations of the various accusations that are floating around in social media. Senor Miguel clearly said that those accusations are false. Kailasa is only here to protect and stand with the indigenous people, and not to, whether it is go against the constitution of Bolivia, go against the rights of the indigenous people. In fact, Kailasa upholds the constitution of Bolivia very much in all our actions, upholding the rights of the indigenous people. And even the indigenous people are standing in solidarity with Kailasa at this moment. And we are standing with the indigenous people. And it is only the deep state and the anti-Hindu, anti-indigenous media that is attacking the Hindu community, the sannyasis, that are currently being denied of their basic human rights.
Thank you so much, Senor Miguel. And because what right now the lawyer, Senor Miguel, had highlighted is very important, and I'd like to reiterate it. And I see so many people right now as we talk. I see so many tweets, so many people actively posting on social media. So many Hindus are coming together, and so many people from around the world are coming together. In fact, I see a lot of people from the South America that are joining here with us, that are also talking about the contributions and services that Kailasa Swamiji has been doing. And one important point that I'd like to highlight once again on what Senor Miguel had mentioned now is about how the sannyasis there, all the monks are being detained illegally without any kind of a explanation whatsoever. And like he said, that just based upon the hate speech, racist, anti-indigenous, racist hate speech that is being spread by Hindu-phobic the media channels, which are completely orchestrated by the deep state, are spreading false news and hate speech, because of which all monks are being attacked by the mob. And today, up until now, are able to get in touch with our monks, with our sannyasis there on ground. And Senor Miguel had highlighted also about how this persecution, this is a persecution that is happening, and each time that for the services that Kailasa has been doing, like he beautifully mentioned, is also how all the indigenous groups are standing together with Kailasa, and anyone that is coming, anyone that is standing up is also facing the attack. And like he said, and I'd like to quote him, he said, you go and ask any of the indigenous people and they will tell you the same of what service that Kailasa has been doing. Just as we talk, if any of you, as all the people that are listening, you all can post your thoughts, tweet your thoughts with the hashtag. Hashtag is projected here for all of you. Please take a moment. We request all of you to take to Twitter, share with us, let us know what you think. Hashtag Kailasa Indigenous Nation attacked. And please post your questions also to us. If any of you have any questions that you would like to ask or anything specific that you would like to highlight, please take a moment, and we request all of you to please share with us or ask your questions and we can address them.
Now, I just have one very important thing that I wanted to highlight. As we are talking, we also have some of the on-ground lawyers who are, even they are voicing out in their channels also directly about covering the attack that is happening. We want to just show you a small clip of how the attack is happening. I'm just going to show all of us can see here the kind of attack that what exactly they face. And like you're seeing here, this is the boat, literally all of them running and attacking. And a very important fact being, these are not the people who are actually running and attacking, are not the indigenous people. That's one very important point to note. These people that you're seeing that who are actually attacking are the people who are put there, who look like the local people. See, the way how the attacks are usually done on the indigenous people has always been with a pattern. Actually, as I'm talking, you can see the various attorneys that are voicing out against this persecution, against this attack. You can see them talking, giving a clarity and sharing about what is the actual truth. What is exactly the real picture which the Hindu music, Hindu-phobic media is trying to hide. You can see here, our monks are going where? We don't even know. Where are they being taken to? What's going on with them? Are they safe? We have no idea. And this you can see, they're trying to fight for justice.
And you can see here, the monk is pleading them. He's asking, he's requesting to be let alone. And he's pleading them there, and there is no one to stand up. There is no one protecting the monks. And here we can see there are the news channels here who are also telling about the persecution and the attack that currently our monks are facing. And here you can see the people covering on ground, and they have our female monks. Their location, the monastery campus has been.
Yeah, this exact clipping is right now. You can see it's night time. Monks are there alone. We are only seeing uniformed men, armed men that are there. We are not allowed inside. The lawyers are not being allowed inside. There are some press channels that are there. They are able to cover, but we are not allowed to even send. Our lawyers are not being allowed inside. What is going on? How is this right? You can see here, right here, you can see this is one of our female monks who is actually being forcefully taken, detained, illegally detained. How can they detain them? There is no complaint, there is no kind of a court order, there is no arrest warrant. How can they detain them? We do not know. We are not able to ask. Even our lawyers, as he just came, as one of the attorneys just came and expressed here, even they are not able to do anything. They are trying their level best. They're trying to approach various courts, various things, trying to take legal actions, but we do not know.
You can see here how the monks are being mobbed. We have no contact. We are not able to see where our monks are. We are not able to see, we are not able to know any detail about them. We do not know what is happening to our monks. We do not know what if they are safe. We do not know any of this news and information. And here you all can see how our monks are being detained. They are being taken illegally. We do not know what is happening to them. They are being illegally detained and kidnapped. Like Senor Miguel, a lawyer, just highlighted importantly, there is no kind of there's no ground for any kind of arrest or anything to happen to them, because they have been doing the service. They are volunteers, and all of them illegally have been kept detained and completely the phobic Hinduistic racist elements are attacking our mosques, and you can see how they are mobbed by the media. And how can it be? You can hear literally the news fogging at them. And this is one clip we have. We are not able to access them. We have been trying constantly. We are trying to somehow get in touch with them. We do not know. And actually, as sannyasis, I want to highlight something here. We are pure vegetarians. We do not eat any other food, any other water. We don't drink any other water, because for us, the vows of brahmacharya are so important, the 5 vows that we take. And the aparigraha is very, very, very important. We do not eat without doing puja. We do not eat any random food. That is no. We have specific sattvic diet. We only follow that. If otherwise, they may just be hungry. So that is what is also one of the concerns we have, because we don't know where they have been taken to. Where are they? What food they have? They are not even given access to their own personal documents. They do not have their documents, their passports, their phones with them. So it's very seriously concerning. How can it happen right now? That is what is like the most serious part here, is where you can see here you're seeing Mr. Javier, who is actually one of the attorneys who's on ground trying to fight for justice, trying to try all the legal ways to somehow fight for the justice for the people, the monks, and their lives, which are at stake right now. And you can see here, you can see our monks are being taken, and up until now, the lawyer, Senor Javier, is live on their national media, requesting and asking, pleading that we be led to meet our sannyasis. We are not able to meet them. We do not know what is going on with them. You can see right now, I am showing you all the clips which we are only getting from media. We do not know what is happening to them. They are being taken to some place, and you can see the press, the media, they're mobbing them continuously. We are not knowing. We do not have access to our monks. We do not know where they're being taken. We do not know what is happening to them. These are just innocent monks that were there only serving the people, only doing good to humanity, and we have no idea of what is happening. And they are being attacked. Our lawyer, Senor Javier, is speaking on the live national, international media channels, and he's also requesting, highlighting the persecution that we are being subject to. Absolutely. Actually, one more thing, if you notice here, you're very clearly seeing how the monks do not have a single bag on them. They're not carrying anything. Hey, this is a different country. We are going out of our sovereign lands to help the other indigenous communities. And the indigenous communities have been so warm, welcoming us, actually grateful for all the work that KAILASA has been doing. And you can see here, this is currently we do not know what is happening with these people. This is all the our people that are being held hostage over there. We do not have any communication. They are not even allowed to touch any of their own documents. Everything, one by one, all their bags are being taken away. There are people there everywhere, and this is what is really concerning us. And we are not able to access our monks. They are all being detained. We do not know what is happening to our monks. We have been trying. We are not able to get in touch, and you can see they are completely surrounded by armed men. We have no clue. Our lawyers are not able to get in touch. Our lawyers are not able to communicate to them. We do not know what is happening. Actually, you can very clearly see
This location is completely different from this other location. Like I was mentioning earlier, these are hundreds of miles apart, completely different locations. This is one location that we were able to collect the visual. And before this, we got one more location, which we showed you the visual of. And before that, we showed you the boat visual. All these are different places. And everywhere, they're identifying our sannyasis, they're identifying our people, and this is not just our people, any of the indigenous people and the indigenous people who are supporting the others. So these type of people are being targeted, and all of them are suddenly, they're just disappearing from the world because all communications are lost. And we are at this situation right now. Till now, this is going on for the last few days, and today it's gone to the peak where absolutely communication is cut off, and we need to raise our voice to actually amplify our voices, to really be able to reach them, to really be able to see what's actually happening. Are they safe? These are women, and all of these are men, armed men. What is going on there? What are these people? And you need to know, we asked several times, who are these people? What rights do they have to come and ask us this? Who are they? Can they show us any documents? Can they show us any IDs? We couldn't get anything from them. Till now, we have not gotten anything. So actually, these are some of the very concerning points that we have. And we request all of you to please take a minute and share this, voice this out. Ma Atmarupa is posting saying this is a completely total nonsense. Exactly. And Ma Nitya Atmarupa, it's right now the way it's happening, there's no logical sense. There's no justification someone can even give. What is going on? Is this a joke? This is something where, like, oh my God, I'm seeing a lot more comments that are coming on in the YouTube. Many of you are posting attack on Kailasa sannyasis is a grave injustice rooted in deliberate suppression of the Hindu indigenous communities. These sannyasis are dedicated service of the divine and humanity. Absolutely, Matanya, that's true. And not just that, I want to also highlight, Ma, it's like how Dr. Miguel was also mentioning. It is not just Kailasa, the attack is being done because we are indigenous. That's the most important thing. Like, just because we are supporting the indigenous communities, and we are supporting, see, like I was mentioning, right, without right offerings, without offering Naivedyam, we don't eat food. So our sannyasis are now, all their puja kits have been taken away. All their personal belongings have been confiscated. Like you will notice, they're not even like one of the sannyasis when she was dragged the car, forced into another car. She didn't even have even a sling bag. Imagine, she no right for the phones. The fundamental rights are all taken away. It's so important that all of us come together, voice this out right now. This attack, this persecution has to stop, and we need our monks back. We need our sister sannyasis. We need to reach our brother monks. They were only merely serving there. We did not do anything else other than serving, and not just serving, continuously, like the way we are supporting the communities are so happy. From external, they are able to attack. We need to share this to all the international groups, all the international aware of this. We need to amplify our voices. It will not be enough, just even a small few hundred of us are speaking this. Please share now. We need to reach out to the mass. We need every one of your voices. We humbly request all of your support. We need to know what's happening right now with our sannyasis. It's been so many hours together. We don't even know if they have had a single drop of water. You all saw the visual. The Sanya, the car, she didn't carry even a bottle. We don't eat anywhere else outside. We don't drink any other water. So what is happening? Just for serving humanity, is this the result that is being given back? This is getting very, 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 very too dangerous. The environment is turning very hostile just because of a few anti-indigenous groups. That is what is the main thing. It is the anti-indigenous groups that are making this whole attack, forming this whole attack. That is what is happening. So we really request all of you to come together. We are seeing a lot more people who are joining us,
and also we see a lot of people who are commenting and support, like we have seen so people who are telling about how bad they feel for this persecution that is happening. But it is also important for us to remember, anytime anyone stands up for the rights of indigenous groups, when we stand up for the rights of Sanatana Hindu Dharma and to serve the humanity, this is what consistently is happening, is been happening. Anyone that stands up for the indigenous rights is being attacked. And it is important, it's even more important that we spread the right news. As much as we are telling about the attack that is happening, let us take that time to also spread the right information to people. Let us spread the right information so people understand, so people know the facts. Right now, our cities' lives are in danger, they are at risk. We do not know what is happening with them. We have no idea of what is going on. And Mahavi, I just wanted to also ask you here of how you have seen this also, as multiple times. Whenever, in fact, Swamiji has taken been the single platform. He's created that one platform that unifies all the indigenous nations together, brings everyone together, and persistently in attacks there has been the Hindu-phobic, Hindu-mesic elements are relentlessly attacking. Do you want to also share about the systematic persecution, that's very systemic persecution that is happening, the multi-pronged attack, just because of the service that Swamiji is doing?
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. If we look at the 2010 persecution, this is exactly how it started. It all started with the Hindu-mesic, Hindu-phobic media, racist media, who basically just spread disinformation, lies about Swamiji, about the work that he's doing, all kinds of lies, so basically inciting hate in the public. And this is exactly what is happening here. The Hindu-mesic, the Hindu-phobic, the racist, the anti-indigenous media is telling all sorts of lies without doing any kind of fact checking, basically going through their own ethics, through going against the ethics of journalism, not doing any fact checking, and just spreading lies, and not even getting the the counter story. Just trying to show one side of the story, and not interviewing, asking the people on ground, the indigenous people who have been benefiting from the services of KAILASA. So that is the strategy that these Hindu-mesic racist media elements are using, just without any without any fact checking, just spreading lies, telling whatever they want on media, just because they can, just because they have the platform. They just tell whatever they want to, and through that misinformation, disinformation, inciting hate, inciting hatred, and inciting violence from the mob, from the public, from the and these are not the people who are actually benefiting from the services of KAILASA. So this is very well planned, and especially as we've seen, multiple places where our nuns and monks are getting persecuted, are getting attacked at the same time. So they would have already planned for it, very systematically planned for it. And so, and one other thing that I wanted to add is that, you know, if you look at the media, like the news report that one of our lawyers is doing, you will see that how, you know, our sister nun, she is a female body, and she has taken the vows of sannyas, and she's being manhandled. She's being handled by men, which is completely against the sannyas vows. So none of her human rights or even religious rights are being honored here. They have zero concern that she's a woman, in saffron, who has taken the vows of sannyas and who is there solely, to enrich the community there, to serve the community there. There's zero concern about that. And as you've mentioned, she's not having anything in her possession. She's not even having her belongings, not even having her devices, and not even having her passport. Can you imagine being in a country, in a totally foreign country, not having your passport, not having your devices, and being suddenly held hostage? And all of that, it's actually very important to understand that all of that is happening illegally. There's no arrest warrant, there's no court orders, nothing. They just suddenly, out of the blue, multiple men just barge into their private residence and take them hostage, just confiscate their devices, their belongings, and not having any contact with the outside world. And we are not able to get in touch with them. We don't even know how they are doing. And I'm very sure that because this is done illegally, I'm very sure that they are not even being given water and food. I mean, they don't.
And we can't even eat the food outside, Mama. That's the thing. Like, we can't even if outside, anywhere, other than what we offer puja for, we don't eat any of that food. That's the upbringing life.
Exactly. And they are not able to do puja as well, because that is one thing that we have to do as part of our sannyas vows, is daily. I mean, even as Hindus, right? Daily puja has to be offered to Paramashiva, to Guru, and they are not even allowed this. So yes, so it is very important that, we go all out, we share constantly through the social media, because these Hindu music, these anti-indigenous media are not going to show the truth. This has been happening. We've been doing everything legally. As per the country laws, legally, we've been doing everything. And these anti-media, anti-Hindu, anti-indigenous media are spreading lies, such as, they've been there illegally, which is completely false. Everybody has the proper visa that they have to. They have everything that is required to be there. Everything is being done as per the country law. But these Hindu music anti-indigenous media is spreading lies and ultimately incite, because that is their purpose. They want to incite hate, and they want to actually break the confidence that KAILASA is giving to these indigenous people. Because see,
Exactly.
these indigenous people have been empowered so much. Actually, if you see, when these indigenous people, they come to our ecosystem, they are so enriched, they are so left in awe, because they feel so much grateful actually to Swamiji, to KAILASA, to show them that, hey, they can revive their culture, their tradition, just like how Swamiji has done for the Hindu indigenous people. And so they have gotten the confidence to do that for them as well. They have gotten the confidence to revive back their language, to fight for, for the environment. But the media is trying to break their confidence. And that is why the media is attacking KAILASA. Because they do
Yes.
not.
Actually,
Go ahead.
one thing I just wanted to add, Mom, because you brought in a very important point initially, where you mentioned about how because we have especially taken the vow of brahmacharya, and men, we cannot touch the opposite gender. The opposite gender cannot touch us. They cannot manhandle us. It's like violating our fundamental rights, violating the fundamental rights, violating our religious sentiments, violating in every possible level. They're harassing our women. I am not able to come to terms with this at all. Like, I'm not able to cognize this, given that they are supposed to be, in the current modern world, that where we are seeing that there's a lot more communication, etc., etc. What's happening is so wrong. I feel so, I do not know how to articulate the emotion that I'm feeling right now, but this is not okay. This is totally not okay. How can this happen? It's so unconstitutional, against violating all the international laws, and we have been persecuted, so openly, blatantly persecuted. And one more thing, Vijay, I just wanted to share. Little today morning, Eastern Standard Time morning, where all of a sudden everything was going normal, where the all our female sannyasis are actually offering the pujas and the rituals, and they were also teaching, supporting classes. They were conducting classes of supporting the women over there and doing counseling. All of a sudden, with no prior notice, all of a sudden there were uniformed officials that just barged in. And when our people asking like, who are you? Why are you coming in? What are you here for? And they didn't give us any straight answer. And even the people, the community people, the indigenous community people, etc., who tried to come and ask them, saying, who are you? They completely silenced them, put them out of the very campus, and they blocked the campus from all sides. And immediately our female sannyasis were frantically trying to make calls to the local police, to the lawyers, trying to get in touch with all of us. And all of a sudden, they said, we actually exactly do not know what the police told or what the armed men told. We do not know that part, because it was exactly at that time, suddenly the whole communications stopped. And only through the media reports we got to know that they had confiscated everything, and these people were not allowed to contact anyone outside. These people, the monks that were there, the monks are of various different nationalities, their first nation being KAILASA, and they all had come together only to serve people. Their whole motto was to serve people, just help them as in all possible ways. And till date, not a single penny has been taken as a charge for anything. It's all about giving, like what this is Swamiji's mission, right? To give to humanity, to contribute to humanity. And so they tried explaining, even some of the indigenous people came to support us as well. Many of the community members tried to support them, saying that to the armed men and men in uniform, telling them that, look, these people are only here doing services. And by then, our lawyers had also had reached there, and two of the attorneys had reached there, but the police completely blocked them out. There were henchmen, there were men in uniform, all of them signed together, and they allowed only the press and media to go in. It's so unlawful, unconstitutional, violating the fundamental human rights. They did not allow our lawyers, we just met with one of the lawyers now in the live, we just heard from him. And we also saw one more lawyer's live stream video that he's doing. So when the lawyers tried to get in, and the attorneys somehow tried to access the people and to try to communicate with the police, they were also blocked. They were completely blocked or not let inside. They even said how, even as per their own laws, even and also as per the international laws, it is a fundamental right for everyone to access, to have their access to their lawyers, to have access to the attorneys. Still, they were denied. Like, we have the right to remain silent with until we have a legal representative, right? This is an international law. But they completely denied the legal representatives to even meet the people. The people from inside are saying, no, just let us go, let us go. And all of them are women only inside. This is a women monastery. And they had completely surrounded the campus. These armed men it's all men. They surrounded the campus of the female monastery and they did not allow any of them to step out. So it was very difficult, like till now I've not been able to reach them. That's what is very, 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 very disturbing for me.
They've even been denied to contact their consulate or embassy, let alone contacting their lawyers. But as other countries' citizens who are there legally in that country, they were not even allowed to contact their consulate or embassies. And again, it is worth repeating again, all that is done so illegally, without any arrest warrant, without any legal documentation. They are just, whenever they want, they just barge in and just take them away. There's no accountability. And now we don't even know where they are. We actually don't know where they are. That is the most shocking. We don't know where they are. And that is so concerning. Just imagine, right? You leave behind your entire life and you decide to take sannyas just because to serve the people, to serve the humanity. And just suddenly, they decide to just barge in and take all their belongings, their passport, everything away. And they are taken in a place where they don't even know what that place is. And they are in a completely foreign country. So that is extremely shocking. And that is extremely terrifying, to live, to be in that situation. And I can't imagine what they are going through right now. It must be absolutely horrible, not having any water, not having any food, not having any belongings, nothing with them, in a completely unknown place, and not knowing who are the people around them. These are deep state people. If they are doing things illegally, they are people who are, these are deep state anti-Hindu, anti-Mesic, anti-Indigenous elements. So we don't know, there's, we don't know if their rights, of course, their rights, human rights are not being upheld. We've already seen that. We absolutely don't know what they are going through right now, what they are doing to them, especially being handled by men, what these men now, what they are doing to them, especially being
yes, they're just kidnapped. Our monks of Sovereign Order of Kailasa are kidnapped. They're kidnapped right now.
That is the exact word.
It's
They are
a
being
very, very, very difficult situation.
Not being able to, we have not been able to access them. We do not know what is happening. It is extremely concerning. Just think, like you said, Ma, so many women and they're just innocent monks who are only there to serve the people. We don't know what's happening with them. Our male sannyasis, the female monks, we do not know where they are. We do not know what they are doing. They have been kidnapped. They have been illegally detained. There is no permission. There is no authority. Whatever is happening to them is illegal. There is no grounds, legal grounds, moral grounds, humanitarian grounds. On any of these levels, it's not fair, to say the least. Because what's happening to them right now, it's completely violating their fundamental human right. They are not allowed access to lawyers. They are not allowed to have access. They're not allowed to speak to their lawyers none of this has been allowed, and they've all been illegally taken away somewhere. We do not know where they have gone.
Actually, this is one more thing, Ma Vijaypriya and Nithyananda. The one thing this reminds me of is, when we were doing a detailed, deep study on how the indigenous nations have all been attacked. Many of the indigenous communities have literally been wiped off. They don't exist anymore because they've been brutally attacked, persecuted. And the pattern in which they do is like always, there is the Western aggressors who have the anti-indigenous aggressors who somehow want to break these indigenous communities. So what they do is they identify some of the people who are looking like the local indigenous, and they brainwash those people. So and they make them to go and attack. Are you understanding? This has been a pattern. So at that situation, we can't see the difference between the attackers and the attacked. So when we can't see the difference, who is the person who's attacking? Because we all look similar. If you see there, it'll feel like, oh, is it the indigenous people or is it some other henchman? You will not know the difference, but because they all look alike. This is the very strategic thing that they do, where they get the henchmen who look similar to this community, and it'll look like, oh, some internal conflict is going on for any outsider. If you see that video, like the visual we just showed, it's immediately possible that you may assume, oh, it's some internal thing going on, but no. Actually, the indigenous communities, many members we don't even know where they are. We don't know, many of them have not been traceable, and the last 48 hours it's in a panic mode, and last 24 hours, it's been heightened more, like a very heated state right now, which is scary. Really, really, really scary. So this is what is happening as a, oh my God, I don't even know how to tell, because now we're witnessing that pattern.
That is what the media, that is the strategy that the the Hindu music, anti-indigenous media is trying to do, right? It's trying to show the public that these indigenous people themselves are against Kailasa, which is totally not true, right? Because then that is a way not to get any sympathy from from the public, to show that Kailasa here is the bad guy, right? So that is all and see, what right do they have to do that, right? I mean, again, there's no accountability to their actions. I mean, who's going to make them accountable for their actions, for spreading lies like that, which is so harmful for the local population, because that is denying the local population, so many resources that Kailasa is bringing to them. And these are the same people who are coming towards Kailasa and asking for Kailasa's help. So these anti-indigenous media, it is not just harm done to Kailasa, but they are also doing harm to the local people, but showing that the local people are against Kailasa. So
exactly. Actually, that is the most important thing for people to notice and remember. Ma Vijaypriya, I just wanted to highlight what you were saying, because people, unfortunately, what the media shows is a completely false picture, but they gaslight the people itself to believe that, oh, the whole public is infuriated, which is actually, I just wanted to share in this regard, that even yesterday, when the monks, like we showed, they were all boat trapped, and the few women and the families who were being served by Kailasa, the indigenous communities, they actually came forward. They said, they requested the mob to stop attacking them. So one of our sannyasis had fainted on the ground because of not drinking water and no food, nothing whatsoever. And he was asking, continuously requesting to be allowed to at least drink water, and he was not allowed, and he fainted on the ground. So immediately the indigenous communities, they rushed forward and they wanted to give some water. And they requested the mob to stop attacking, and they all like came and stood in front of the mob to protect. Every single one of them were attacked. And they gaslighted everyone around. The mob was screaming to show that, no, we don't want you, we don't want you. But there's so many people are actually saying, no, we are standing for you, we are supporting for you, supporting KAILASA. And this is how it is so manipulated on the media. And everyone who are seeing this live right now, like, you all should share these facts. We should request and we should write to the government. We should ask them. We should request on humanitarian grounds. What is happening to us is unfair. It's a persecution. It's a violation of human rights.
Actually, all the viewers that are watching this live right now, we request all of you to share this directly. Please share it with the mayors and the government itself, so they also know how these racist, anti-indigenous terrorists are attacking us. Please, I'm seeing also that Gebache Hossein has posted, monks didn't drop their vows because in these situations they can't do their rituals routine and they followed the vows. The responsibility of the mob, absolutely. That is why our monks fainted. Our monk fainted there. And he was denied food, denied even water. It's scorching heat. He was standing there. And the thing is, they were not attacked when they are, in the place where all the people, the indigenous people who are there, who were all served by KAILASA, that community, that was not the place where they were attacked. Because if they're attacked there, the indigenous people are going to come to support. No, the attack was very strategic. They were waiting till our monks actually went in a boat. So they went away from this community area. They had to go to another town by boat to get vegetables and groceries for cooking to serve the indigenous people. So they were waiting to go to that boat. They go into that boat and somehow go to that place. So as they were going, in between, their boat got stopped. Are you understanding? It's very, very like, oh my God, what level conspiracy this is, what level of attack. They were waiting for the boat to go and be away from the communities because they know if the mob, the henchmen, they come and attack, then at that time, if the people are coming and attacking the sannyasis, indigenous people can come and support them. That is why they waited for them to get separated and showed in media as if, oh, look, there's a mob that's attacking. No. Terapia Na Rede has posted, Nithyanandam, some of the people in photos are my friends, and then went to the Paramashivoham, which I was getting ready to participate. I am very worried. I live in Brazil. We need, yes, you're right. And these are the people who have been supporting the people, trying to support everyone, every of the participants, even in the Paramashivoham, everything. So that is why we are saying the situation is just getting really, really bad. Sorry, Mahavichapriya, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to share that it is very, very important that all the viewers understand the gravity of the situation. It is an extremely bad situation in which our nuns and monks are in right now. We don't even know if they are alive. We've not been able to reach out to them at all. We don't know where they are. So this is, a request to all the viewers to actively reach out to all the mayors, to all the government officials, and tell them what persecution we are going through, and which is completely illegal. Again, there's been no arrest warrant. Suddenly, they are just taken hostage. They are just kidnapped when their only motive was to do good to the society there. So it is very, 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 very important that we understand this and we actively reach out without delay to all the government officials in the country, all the mayors, and make them understand what kind of persecution is happening. So yes, that's what I wanted to add.
Absolutely. To see comment in comment by Ma Terapia Na Rede. Sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. They're saying maybe it's time to use my law degree for the benefit of Kailasa. You're more than welcome. You can let us know exactly